That's why everyone is Googling Euphrates River. In recent years, as the water level of the Euphrates River has decreased, several ancient ruins have emerged from a cave, becoming accessible. Some people quickly interpret this phenomenon as a fulfillment of the end times predictions found in the Bible. However, it is important to understand the meaning of the Euphrates River and what is behind its drying up. Are there biblical prophecies that explain this event? The Euphrates River, which crosses the regions of Syria and Iraq, it has significant importance in the scriptures, mentioned more than 50 times in the Bible. Our introduction to this specific river, it occurs in the book of Genesis, where it is described as one of the 4 rivers that flowed from the Garden of Eden. Genesis 2, verses 10 to 14. This garden was a place where humanity had an encounter with God. Although the identities of the other 2 rivers, Pishon and Gihon, are still a mystery, the rivers Tigris and Euphrates are well known. The central location of this event is an area called the Fertile Crescent, a fertile strip of land that stretches from the Nile River in Egypt, heading northeast, passing through Israel and going down to the south and southeast, to the plains surrounding the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. This region, formerly known as Mesopotamia, which means between rivers, it's a crucial element in our understanding of biblical narratives. If the Tigris and Euphrates rivers mentioned in the Bible are the same ones we know today by these names, this would suggest that the Garden of Eden was located in the Middle East. So it's important to note that even a modest flood in an area can change the course of a river. During Noah's time, a flood occurred that wasn't just a localized inundation. This event dramatically impacted the Earth's landscape. As a result, the Euphrates River mentioned in Genesis may have been lost over the millennia. Is it possible that the rivers we call the Tigris and Euphrates today were named in memory of the rivers associated with Eden, just like the city of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, got its name in reference to the city in Judea? In the Bible, in Deuteronomy chapter 1, God promises to give the Israelites all the land that extends between the Euphrates and the Mediterranean Sea. In Isaiah 8, the prophet Isaiah uses the Euphrates as a symbol of the Assyrian Empire, which threatened to invade Israel. There are 2 passages in the Bible that predict the eventual drying up of the Euphrates rivers. The first prediction of the Euphrates River drying up is part of the 7 bold judgments in Revelation. The book of Revelation is a work that has a wide range of interpretations. Among Christians, there are various perspectives, from those who avoid the book because of its fearful nature, to enthusiasts who delve into its prophecies. On the other hand, there is a special blessing promise for those who read it aloud, meditate on its words, and apply them in their lives. Those who choose to alter the text of the book of Revelations, either by additions or omissions, will bring upon themselves a unique curse. If anyone dares to add or insert information, the plagues described in the book of Revelation will add to the experience of those in charge. On the other hand, if subtraction or exclusion of parts of the text occurs, the guilty party's part in eternal life in the New Jerusalem will be removed. God clearly emphasizes the value of this information and revelations, as shown by the blessings and curses associated with them. The Bible prophesies that one day the Euphrates River will dry up to make way for a significant event. This river is discussed in the book of Revelation, specifically in chapter 16, which is considered the session that addresses the near future. In the context of the apocalypse, the general structure of the book is divided into 3 parts. Revelation chapters 1 to 5 deal with the present era. Revelation chapters 6 to 16 address the near future. And Revelation chapters 20 to 22 glimpse the distant future. The great Euphrates River plays a crucial role in the judgments that will occur during the last events of our world. These judgments begin with the 7 seals, continue with the 7 trumpets, and culminate with the 7 bowls. It's important to note that even with the seriousness of these events, the biblical promise is that circumstances will not become more terrifying than what is predicted in these passages. The book of Revelation makes use of various symbolic terms, such as seals, trumpets, bowls, candlesticks, the dragon and stars. The seals, the trumpets, and the bowls. Do they represent significant disasters that will occur? These events are so devastating that if they were not interrupted, would result in the decimation of all human life on earth. As Mark 13 verses 19 and 20 remind us, because in those days there will be such great suffering as there has never been since God created the world, and nothing like it will ever happen again. However, the Lord shortened this time of suffering. If it weren't so, no one would be saved. But because of the people God chose to save, that time has already been shortened. God will shorten those days, and the 7 bowls, also known as the final judgments of the tribulation period, these will be the most severe judgments the world has ever witnessed. These 7 bowls of God's wrath are detailed in Revelation 16, verses 1 to 21. They are specifically called the 7 bowls of God's wrath. At this point, humanity's wickedness reaches its peak and is met with divine wrath against sin. The Euphrates River plays a significant role in the 6th bowl. The first bowl brings painful sores to those who have the mark of the beast and worship its image. This plague is aimed at those who have committed themselves to the Antichrist. The second bowl is poured into the sea, turning the water into blood, like that of a corpse, resulting in the death of all marine creatures. When the third cup of God's wrath is poured out, the rivers and fresh water sources also turn into blood. On the 4th chalice, an angel pours his bowl on the sun, allowing it to scorch people with intense heat. The 5th chalice plunges the beast's kingdom into extraordinary darkness, intensifying the suffering of the wicked. The 6th bowl is the penultimate judgment of the tribulation and involves the drying up of the Euphrates River, as recorded in Revelation 16 verse 12. In the new version of today's language, then the 6th angel poured out his bowl on the great Euphrates River. The river dried up in order to pave the way for the kings coming from the east. Historically, the Romans believed that the Euphrates River served as an impregnable defense against potential attacks from empires located further east. This impressive river stretched for about 1,800 miles or 2,900 kilometers and varied in width from 300 to 200 meters. As much as when the Euphrates River dries up, it transforms into a road, paving the way for massive armies from the east, including those from China, India, and Japan, a move westwards. There are speculations about the reasons behind this event, but the fact is that the Euphrates drought sets the stage for the coming of the kings of the east, a crucial event in biblical prophecies related to the end times. Some people have the perception that the drying of the Euphrates River is linked to the global figure known as the Antichrist, which is often associated with Europe. According to these interpretations, the Antichrist and his forces will eventually come into direct conflict with God. Then, the kings of the earth will gather in a place known in Hebrew as Armageddon. The Bible suggests that the drying of the Euphrates is caused by a divine act, specifically an angel pouring a bowl of God's wrath, as described in Revelation 16 verse 12. This indicates that the drying is not the result of natural causes such as climate changes or human intervention, but rather a divinely planned event with a clear purpose: prepare the way for the kings of the east, and thus set the stage for the prophesied battle. The Great Battle of Armageddon takes place at a location called Megiddo. But what does this battle represent in current times? The term Armageddon is sometimes used more broadly to refer to any cataclysmic battle, especially if it is seen as a situation that would result in widespread destruction or the annihilation of human life. In the context of the book of Revelation, the word Armageddon refers to the final decisive conflict that will occur in the future between God and the forces of evil. The word originates from the Hebrew word Har Megiddon, which means Mount Megiddo, the predicted location for this battle. The only mention of the word Armageddon in the Bible occurs in Revelation 16. According to Revelation chapter 16, verses 13 to 16, evil spirits, symbolized as frogs, come out of the mouths of Satan, that is, the dragon, of the Antichrist, who is the beast, and of the false prophet. They perform miraculous signs and influence the kings of the whole earth to gather for the great day of God, the Almighty's war. At this point, Jesus returns, and the battle is fought in Armageddon, resulting in the destruction of all God's enemies. This is described in Revelation 16, verses 17 to 20. In Revelation 19, verses 11 to 20, a final battle occurs at the second coming of Christ, when the conquering Christ defeats the forces of the Antichrist. Many interpret this as a description of the Battle of Armageddon, which culminates in God's victory over the forces of evil. In Revelation, as recorded in Revelation 19, verses 11 to 21, a spectacular vision unfolds. The sky opens up, revealing a white horse, and the one who rides it is called Faithful and True, the Infallible, the Incorruptible, the Just, who judges and goes to war against the rebellious nations. His eyes shine like flames of fire, and many royal crowns adorn his head. A name is inscribed on it, a name that only he knows and understands. He is dressed in a robe stained with blood, and his name is called the Word of God. The armies of heaven, dressed in shining, pure white linen, follow them on white horses. He carries a sharp sword with his word, by which he will rule the nations firmly, using an iron rod. He will tread the winepress of the wrath of God, the Almighty, in a judgment against the rebellious nations. His robe and thigh bear the name King of Kings and Lord of Lords. A single subsequent vision reveals an angel standing in the sun, crying out loud for all the birds of heaven to gather for God's great feast, where they will feast on the flesh of kings, commanding it, powerful men, horses, and all types of human beings, both free and slaves, small and big, in a complete victory over evil. The vision continues with the beast, that is, the Antichrist, and the kings of the earth with their armies gathered to fight against the one who is mounted on the white horse, as well as against his army. However, the beast and the false prophet, who performed deceptive signs in front of them, are captured and thrown alive into the lake of fire that burns with sulfur. The remaining rebels are killed by the sword that comes out of the mouth of the one riding the horse, and all the birds voraciously feed on their flesh. The exact location of Armageddon is not clear, as there is no mountain named Megiddo. However, there is a mountain called Megiddo. Nevertheless, considering that the word rare can also mean hill, the area of the hill that surrounds the plain of Megiddo, approximately 60 miles north of Jerusalem, is the most likely interpretation. Megiddo has been the scene of many conflicts throughout history, involving armies such as the Egyptians, Assyrians, Greeks, Romans, Crusaders, and even Napoleon's troops. During the First World War, Megiddo also witnessed battles. Two of the biggest tragedies in biblical history occurred in Megiddo: the death of Saul and his sons, 1 Samuel 31 verse 8, and the death of King Josiah, according to Chronicles 35 verse 22. Demonic influences will lead the kings of the earth to gather their armies for a total attack. The Antichrist will be in charge of leading this movement. However, Jesus Christ will return to earth with the armies of heaven. His feet will touch the Mount of Olives, and he will triumph over the forces of evil. The Antichrist and the false prophet will be cast into the lake of fire, as described in Revelation 19 verse 20. Jesus will bind Satan and establish his kingdom on earth for a period of 1,000 years. All things will be corrected, restoring the divine order. The Battle of Armageddon is a complex conflict involving a wide range of participants, including supernatural beings and the forces of good and evil. The drying up of the Euphrates River and the Battle of Armageddon are interconnected in the prophetic timeline. The first event, the drying up of the Euphrates River, serves as preparation for the second event, the Battle of Armageddon. The opening of a geographical path for this battle is a signal that the final confrontation between good and evil, it will culminate in a new era of divine government and peace. We hope this video has been a source of inspiration and knowledge for you. If you wish to continue exploring the depths of the scriptures and receive regular updates on biblical content, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Click the subscribe button below and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. If you found this content useful, share it with friends and family who may also benefit from it. And don't forget to give us a like to show your support. Let us know what you thought about this video and share your questions, insights, or topics you'd like to see in future videos. We value your feedback very much and look forward to interacting with you. Thank you for being part of the Life Bible community. Together, we will continue to grow in our understanding and faith. May the peace and wisdom of the Scriptures always be with you. Until the next video.